Hey everybody, Dylan Distraction here, coming to you live from Batlantic Studios. Thought I'd do a quick back to drawing board talk about comic book, show you what's on my drawing table, and let you know Nuke Force available right now on Kickstarter. Go to Kickstarter, grab a copy of Nuke Force, help us hit goal. The higher we go, the more you get. So thank you so much to everyone that checked out the campaign. I really appreciate it. Super psyched to have Nuke Force on Kickstarter. I've done 14-ish. I don't even know. Crowdfunding campaigns, always fulfilled. I love making comic books. I really appreciate everybody's support. So thank you so much to everybody that's checked out the campaign and back the campaign. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you're excited about it. Comment below. Super thrilled. And I'm doing a little bit of behind the scenes here, showing how I would traditionally pencil a page. And it's not super tight, it's pretty loose, but just kind of going through and figuring out some perspective stuff and drawing in some stuff. So I thought people might get a kick out of seeing that. It's fun, I think. So here we have Major Grit, Mr. Malto. So it's establishing shot exterior. I showed you previously in a previous video that I was doing sketchbook drawing. So I was drawing in the sketchbook, right, a little Canson sketchbook, which is fun. Drawing in the sketchbook because it keeps it kind of loose for me. I don't get super tight when I'm drawing in a sketchbook, which is nice. Because really it's just about like pacing and plotting for me. And then figuring out, okay, where are these figures in this environment? What obstacles am I going to have to throw in their way that they're going to have to overcome? So we have establishing shot. I think you see that. Establishing shot, Nuke Force Island, their home base, Nuke Force Tower, and Mr. Malto, Major Grit, walking through a hallway, kind of a Jack Kirby sort of interior, gibberish technology on the walls. That's the kind of stuff I'm into. I like when all the technology looks kind of Jack Kirby gibberish. And then there's dialogue, so I'll leave room for dialogue. And then Major Grit is going to have some dialogue here. Going to be talking about what they're talking about. And they come to this containment unit. Nuclear power. So Nuke Force is a comic book made in 1945 about 2025. Like, what would that look like? What kind of artwork would be inspired by that? What kind of storytelling elements? And so for me, I love those vintage sort of comics, like old Captain Marvel Shazam and old science fiction action heroes. And so that was really what I was trying to pull from for this. And I like that sort of sensibility of those old golden age comics. I think they're kind of silly and fun. So definitely doing that sort of stuff. And this is just a mapping ruler trying to throw in some vertical lines. So, and I'm going to ink all this digitally. So I'm just drawing this for fun to just kind of have something to, usually I would do all of this digitally in Procreate, but I was like, why don't I try doing some of it digitally? Just see if it's a different feel. See if there's some different muscles being used, right? Because I think anytime you get too stuck on one workflow, you can get a little stagnant, right? I know that for me, it's like, oh, I always draw things this way, or I always put things this way. So is this like, why don't I draw it in my sketchbook and then put them in the scanner, scan them all in, and then draw them again in pencil. I was like, what would that look like? I'm like, I don't know. Let's find out. So that's what I did with this. So it also helps me with proportions, because if you're only ever drawing on iPad, you do tend to lose the sense of scale of things. And it is also nice to just draw on graphite once in a while, right? And I can have these drawings available in the Kickstarter. Nuke Force on Kickstarter right now. Go check it out. It's super awesome. Go check out Kickstarter. Grab a reward. Help us hit goal. Bunch of great reward levels. Jump in now. There you go. What kind of science techie? Science techie. Kind of a science techie looking building. Not the most interesting thing to draw, but good to establish where they are at before I blow it up. Yeah, looks cool. Wally Wood's 22 panels that always work. 2 figures in a shot. So yeah, I'll show you some more stuff I'm inspired by. I'm gonna try to do a little every time I show my progress and process on drawing these pages. I'll show you a little bit of what I'm inspired by. So I've shown a little bit of the CC Beck Captain Marvel stuff again. Looks like this, Archive Editions. Captain Marvel Shazam. Love this stuff. So weird, right? The covers are full bleed, aren't they? They must be. Or am I misremembering? Yeah, covers are full bleed. It'd be wild if the covers weren't. So, classic Captain Marvel, Wiz Comics, CC Beck. Love this stuff. So weird. And some Simon and Kirby stuff is in here too. And there's a couple more I have over here. This is a Chip Kid one I showed. Right, original art. So cool. Also original production art. Vintage colors. Original scans. So awesome. Love all that stuff. I'm definitely inspired by that. And then, of course, this art of CC Beck is a really great one. It wasn't cheap to get this one, but it has some great reproductions. I love the scans from the originals. So cool. So that sort of stuff. And then these PS art books. This one has Spy Smasher, Bullet Man, Commando Yank, and Captain Marvel. So, love these. But also, we got Simon and Kirby before Atlas Comics. We're doing this sort of stuff. Simon and Kirby library editions. These are great. So these show classic Joe Simon, Jack Kirby stuff. Science fiction heroes. Right? Blue Bolt. And just the weirdest stories. The weirdest Golden Age stuff. But I think this stuff's so cool. So I'm definitely pulling from this. Pre-Marvel, Golden Age, right? Blue Bolt, science fiction. You know, this weird sort of Kirby stuff. 40s, 50s. A lot of people being shrunk or ants were being made larger. fourth dimension. So odd. Love it. So there's that sort of stuff. And also I love classic Simon and Kirby heroes. So a lot of the 40s and 50s were patriotic heroes, right? Stuntman was one that they did back then. Just so much fun. So cool. Fighting American, obviously. Captain America, obviously. Captain 3D. So neat. Fighting American. Love this stuff. So kind of trying to be inspired by that. Showing that sort of, not homage, but definitely thinking about that stuff as I'm working. And the thing about that stuff is there wasn't, photorealistic sort of illustrations. They were trying to draw very quickly, trying to really get, hit deadlines. So I'm thinking about that as I'm working. Nothing precious. Draw it. Make it awesome. Make it attractive. Kind of try to hook the reader visually. Make it all interesting. Make it all exciting. So those are things I'm working on, trying to get better. And also it's good to just have something on the drawing board. If I'm always sitting on a computer, burning my retinas out, it's nice to just have something on the drawing table where you can like mix it up. And I can have these available in the Kickstarter campaign. Kickstarter right now. Link in the description. Thanks so much for checking out the Kickstarter. I'm going to keep working on this page. I want to draw this thing. I haven't gridded out any sort of perspective or guides or anything for this. I don't know why there's graphite on it. Just going to draw it. Just going to draw it in. What would Kirby do? He'd draw it. He'd start in the middle. Draw to the corners. Make it look awesome. I think I might make it bigger. Maybe I'll rework it a little bit. This is where having a digital option would come in handy, because I could be like, I don't know, maybe I want it bigger. Maybe it's more grand in scale. Maybe it looks more like a warhead. It might be kind of cool if it looked like a warhead. That would get back to the whole looking vintage, like an old-timey nuclear weapon. Yeah, maybe they're experimenting on... It looks more like a warhead. I thought it would look more like a cooling tunnel, but maybe warhead more is what it's going for. Yeah, that makes more sense. And then maybe I'll change the scale of the figures and put them here. Put one here. Yeah, like they're looking up at it. That makes more sense. Cool. I like that better. It just felt a little boring in the middle like that. Drop them down like they're looking up at it more. Maybe I'll have more like they're standing on some sort of a platform, maybe. Drop the horizon line for sure. So if that's them, that would be... Let's do some of this. So this is my drawing process. Right? If you're like, what's it like when Professor Andrews has to draw something? It's a lot of this. A lot of loose, rough sketches. Reworking stuff. See, with Major Grit, got a cape, so mostly cape. Mr. Malto, I could put them both in silhouette. That might look more impactful. Yeah, we'll do them like that. And then we'll cut them through there. See how that looks. I don't need that. Yeah, makes sense. We'll go with that. I don't know if Kirby ever threw in any sort of perspective grid. Mine are usually pretty basic. Just something that I can give a vague idea where a hang line would be. I used to not do it, and I find that especially when doing establishing shots or any sort of multiple figures talking, I gotta have something so that I know, like even with this, like, okay, at least that gives me these guys are marginally in proportion. Like, okay, they're both being cut through the waist, so we know Malto is bigger and Major Grit, not tiny, but smaller than Malto. And then here the proportion stays about the same. He's roughly that, but he'd probably be closer. So I'll have him in the foreground, but hunched, right? And then Major Grit like that. It's possibly they're talking there. We don't need to see where their feet are. They'll be cut off. But then we have more gibberish technology here on the walls. It gives me something I can draw lines towards. Like, all right, that, something there, right? Like that. One thing I look at with like video game design, like if you're ever in like a sci-fi sort of scrolling through an environment, they'll do a lot of like rounded edges on things. So like doorways and stuff. It's not all just square lines. Now, does this need to be perpendicular? Could they vanish off into a vanishing point? I guess I could put something way up here. Maybe I will do that. We're doing it. Let's do it. Let's just do it. Just like Nike says, just do it. See if it's there. Does that look right? Pretty much. Cool. I'll go to that. It's about the length of my ruler. Oops. It's longer than the ruler. I'm not doing it. There you go. Gives you some sense of scale, right? Warhead, vanishing point, horizon line, bada bing, bada boom. I look like I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm winging it. I don't know why I felt the need to draw through the entire page. Obviously, that's not necessary. But whatever. Whatever. So yeah, we got Nuke Force on Kickstarter, issue 1. Thanks so much for your support. Thanks so much for checking out my work. Thank you so much for watching these videos. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, share, or not. Do whatever you feel like. But thrilled to be able to have people that like my work and enjoy my work and want to continue to support my work. So thank you so much. Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. We're getting there. It's going to take a while, but fun to see the process. Hopefully everybody enjoys seeing some work in progress for Nuke Force. Issue 1 available right now on Kickstarter. Please help us hit goals so we can continue to make more awesome comics. Okay, thanks. Bye.